In this video, I'm going to explain to you why I decided to spend £25,000 into my property education versus buying my first property. My name is Alfred Dzadey, and I've built a £4 million property portfolio within 3 years alone. So for me to explain why I made that decision of spending £25,000, I have to take you back down memory lane. So I used to work in the corporate world. I used to be a project manager working at Jaguar Land Rover. I was contracting there for a number of years. I believe year one into my career, so I came out of university, I was doing an engineering degree. In that first year, it was amazing. I had a good starting salary, £40,000, and I thought, I've made it, amazing. Very quickly, a year into it, I kind of realized, okay, cool, fun's over, this is life now. I've now finished uni, I'm now working, and this is my day-to-day, right? This is what I do every day, and I go into work and I make 40 grand a year. Great, but like, how do I get to 100 grand, 150, 200 grand a year? So that was my first, I guess, instance into kind of like, okay, what can I do differently? Because clearly this video come in to try and climb the ladder of like trying to get to 100k plus. When I did my research, it meant that I was going to spend a number of years doing that. So for me, the data that I found show that I'd have to spend 5 to 10 years of climbing the corporate ladder. And I realized actually maybe this isn't the thing that I want to do, because 5 to 10 years just to get 100 grand, respectfully, like there's better ways to do it. Surely I've seen through social media other people have been able to achieve more, even 100 grand a month. So I was like, why would I wait 10 years to just make 100 grand a year? It just doesn't, like 10 years of my life is gone, right? There must be another way. So I guess the next thing in my mind was, how do people get wealthy? Like, what do they do to get wealth? And again, when you do your research, a lot of people that have built wealth have property as part of their asset. Whether they started from property, they build businesses, whatever, property is part of their wealth creation strategy. So I said, okay, well, a lot of people have built their wealth from property. If I want to guarantee my chance of, in essence, doing the same, I know this is the thing that has done it for a lot of people. So let me try and figure out whether this is something I can do, or you understand how it works, right? So upon doing research, obviously start to look at property investment. I think I even spoke to a friend of mine, I believe his partner, who did more research and kind of realized there's this seminar going on, and we then all decided to go to the seminar. So this is like my first instance into like, okay, let's go look at how this stuff works. What can we do to accelerate our earnings through property investing? So this seminar was the gateway. Went to the seminar, my mind was blown of what was possible. Like initially, before going to that seminar, my mindset was always, well, I'm going to work a corporate career, I'm going to earn good money, and I'm going to save my money, and then I'm going to use that money over time to buy one every couple of years. And then by the time I finish my career, I probably have like a portfolio of 10 properties, right? By the end, and I'm set for life, I'm good, I've got a retirement pot, and I've got a property portfolio that works, right? That was my mindset. That was kind of the thought process at the time. Until I got into this room, and here we're being told, look, you can buy multiple properties, you can run a business doing this, you can generate a lot of rental income from these properties. And I was like, whoa, like this is all new news to me. Like I didn't know this existed, right? I didn't even know that this is a possibility. So that just for me shifted my mind. And obviously at the end, they had this upsell of I think £1,000 to get educated further on like on a 3-day advanced training. So I said, yeah, you know what, if that was £1,000, I'm earning pretty much good 40 grand a year. I can spend, it's not a problem. So paid the £1,000, turned up to the 3-day seminar, and they then even got further deeper into how property investing works, the strategies that are available, what you can do to be able to try and build a portfolio and kind of cater to what you want to achieve, right? And a lot of things kind of shifted for me around that whole 3-day experience. Obviously at the end, there's this big upsell of, hey, we've got these packages and you can get involved in property investing at a much deeper level with us and get mentorship training, courses, all that stuff as a package. I was like, okay, cool, what's this about? And they dropped the price, right? It was £24,000 to go all in on getting educated, like a 2-year mentorship program with like 4 courses, which you can repeat over the 2-year cycle. And so for me, I was like, you know what? Everything I've seen over the last 3 days has been amazing. I'm a big believer, like if one man can, so can I. I saw a lot of people that came on and said, hey, I came to this program, I didn't know anything about property, I got educated, I followed this stuff, I implemented stuff more importantly, and here's what I've achieved. I built millions of pounds in property portfolio, I make this much money a month for my property portfolio, and I was like, okay, cool. If these guys can do it, I don't know, it just, for me, everything sounded logical to me. I'm from an engineering background. I'm a very logical thinker. I don't really I just look at the data. Right? What is the data? Can I see data that supports this argument? If it does, I'm all in. I'm sold. So I was like, you know what, this makes sense. Like, I can see how people have come through this, and education is quite solid. Like, I feel like what they were teaching made sense, and it's something that can be applied. So I was confident in the process that they were discussing, right? So obviously now the big problem is £24,000, and I'm thinking, okay, at that moment in time, I had £20,000 and a bit of change in the savings account. That was the money I was actually intending to go and utilize to buy my first property. I was going to put that down towards a deposit and buy a property for myself as my first residential home. And I thought, okay, I'm in a room, I'm on the third day, I'm being told about this opportunity that can allow me to build a 7-figure portfolio, can allow me to earn 6 figures plus, easily 200, 300, 400, even £1 million a year from my portfolio, right? So I'm like, okay, the investment required is £24,000. Yes, it's a lot of money. Yes, it means we spend all the money I have available right now. And it stops me from buying my current property that I was looking at potentially buying. So do I make the move on this, or do I just carry on and just go back to normal life again and just sink my money in the property, right? And for me, several things happened, and kind of my engineering brain started to work. Okay, Alfred, you went and did a university degree, engineering degree, aerospace engineering, did a master's, you spent about £25,000 acquiring that degree, which then fortunately, coming outside of your exams, you landed a job. The job paid you 40 grand a year, great start, but your earning potential in that vehicle was like, okay, 150 grand maybe, and that's a 10-year play, right? So 10 years to be able to see maybe 150k a year. Here's another opportunity presented to yourself whereby you've got £20,000 or £24,000 to invest into this program. You've got £20,000 in your account. I get it, not everything you need, but is the majority of it. But now the opportunity to be able to earn is 7 figures plus. Like, you can build a 7-figure asset base, you can build a 7-figure income from this strategy in this vehicle. So I'm like, you know what, similar to my degree expenditure, like I can go again and, you know what, bet on myself and say, you know what, let me spend this money, let me get access to information, and more importantly, apply this information to see if I can get to this outcome, right, of having this portfolio that serves me far better than my career would ever do in a million years. So these were kind of the things I was thinking in my mind. Yes, it was a scary thought of emptying my bank account and going all in on myself, but ultimately I believed in myself, and I believed that I am worthy of that money, and for me, that money I could earn back. Like, I realized at my job I could save easily another 2 grand a month. So it's like, okay, worst case, it doesn't work out, I'll just save the money back up again easily within a year, couple of years max. And yeah, I lose 2 years, but at least I know I tried. And for me, that's always my thing. I always want to know, I guess I gave something a go. I don't want to live that life of regret of like, oh, what if I did this? What if I made that jump at that time? So for me, money, it's a bit hard to say now. Like, at that time, it was a big decision. I don't want to downplay it. That was literally me emptying like everything I had. I literally remember sending a screenshot on socials saying, hey, you guys don't believe me? Here's a screenshot. You can see me making the transaction. I think I had £5.80 something left, which is, for a lot of people, a scary thing, probably won't do. But like, ultimately, like, if I want a different outcome, I've got to do something different, right? So yeah, I could have left the place and gone back to my career and just carried on as is, but I know I would have had that level of regret. I would have said, what if, and live my life of what if, right? And so let's spend the money, let's do it. There were several things that were current in my head. I know I'm going to spend that money on holiday. People might say that's ridiculous. You are going to spend £20,000 on holiday, £24,000 on holidays in your lifetime, and that doesn't help you increase your earning potential. You're going to spend that money on takeaway. You're going to spend that money on just silly things, clothes, whatever you want to put it. You're going to spend £24,000, and in that time frame, lifetime, whatever, would have had zero value to yourself. So pull that money forward, spend it today to create a better future, to create a better outcome for yourself. And like, worst case, it doesn't work out, at least you know you tried. And do you know what I mean? Nothing's really going to change. Yeah, it delays me buying my purchase, but like, what? That's not significant enough versus the outcome of me being able to learn how to earn more. And more importantly, create an asset which I can then pass on, which is generational. For me, it's like, I just sold it to myself in the room. And what's crazy was this room, prior to even making an investment, I didn't do any research on this company. I just literally sat in the room, heard what I heard, and I was like, okay, I'm sold. I'm sold on the belief that I can take this information and go and apply it and have this outcome. So I don't need to look at anything else. I didn't think at the time to look anywhere else, if I'm honest. I was just mesmerized at that moment and just like sold it. Whether it was selling whatever bullshit or actors in front of me, I would have never known. But luckily it wasn't that. It was legit. And I went on myself, right? I said, hey, look, I haven't got £24,000. What I can do is I can pay £20,000 right now. and I will look to pay you the remaining 4K over a 2-month period through my salary. When I get it, I'll obviously send the rest over. So that's what I did. I took that chance on myself and said, you know what, go in all out on yourself, Alfred. Fast forward today, obviously I can't attribute that one program thing that helped me build a £4 million portfolio in 3 years alone. But there's been several things, I guess. Once you kind of get into the property investment space, you start to realize actually you're on a journey of personal development. You're going to continue to develop yourself, acquire new skills, get more knowledgeable, get into new rooms, get into new networks. So for me, it's a continuous cycle. And for me, that was a catalyst for all of what I've achieved today. I featured in articles like Business Insider, The Sun, talking about how I've generated this portfolio, right? And how I've gone about doing it. And so for me, that decision of putting that money into yourself versus putting that money into property, a lot of people feel like, well, why don't you just go buy a property with that money? Well, I'm like, my logic was, if I go and buy a residential property with that money, I have no idea how to invest in property still. I am still literally not knowledgeable in the process. I have no wisdom to be able to then even decide on like, okay, future investments, how do I make that investment? So like, I would rather all day long go and acquire information. I understood as well buying a home was a liability. So if I was to buy a house, I'm relying on paying that mortgage, right? Versus the investment properties, if I was to buy that, that is an asset that provides me income, provides me wealth. So I'm willing to kind of delay my purchase on my property to go in on myself. And actually really what happened was I invested into that program and then saved up again through what I learned on the program to then be able to go and literally be able to buy my property. So I kind of learned how to raise money and go into business venture, which allowed me to generate profits from that business venture and allowed me to save my money even quicker to be able to then go still buy my property. So I ended up still buying the property. But for me, that was again, a great investment in the sense I learned this one thing, which has now allowed me literally to reason why I've been able to scale so quickly was because I learned how to raise capital. And that one thing is the thing that has allowed me to build a £4 million portfolio. Like the bottleneck for a lot of people is like, hey, when I get the money to be able to buy a property, property's not cheap. And so that skill set I acquired in that program was for me priceless. So anyone thinking about obviously like, hey, what do I do? Do I go all in on myself? I think the question's for yourself, really and truly. Like, I'm not here to tell you what to do. But if you're true to your outcome, you've got to be willing to back yourself. You have to, like for me, that's just logical. You have to be willing to back. Who else is going to back you if you aren't willing to back yourself? So that's in essence the story of why I decided to invest £25,000 into my personal education when it comes to property investing versus using that same money to go and buy my first property deal. So I hope you guys got some value from that. Obviously, if you guys are still interested in wanting to learn about BRR HMOs and raising capital as a strategy, reach out to myself. There's a link in the description and we'll look to see how it can be of value to you. See you in the next video, guys.